I hope you enjoyed that last video with the interview with Johnny Brown. It was very successful. We had a lot of views. A lot of people added to the channel. I'm excited about that. There'll be more of those. I got another one coming up soon, about a week, 2 weeks. Not with Donnie, with somebody else, of course. Anyway, we are going through our series on getting you through the gig. That means I'm giving you tools to keep in your arsenal for various stages of your development, right? Because we don't know what's going to happen now with the pandemic and all that kind of stuff, right? We don't have a clue. Anything can happen. And we do know, though, that when things do finally open up all the way, a lot of clubs did not make it through the pandemic. They're going to close down, or they're going to not have music for a while. So there's going to be less gigs to go around, you know. People are on unemployment. Unemployment ran out. Myself, I'm having difficulties. So this is a problem, and it's going to be even longer problem for musicians. So there'll be a real fight for gigs, a real fight. You know what I mean? And really, this is a chance for the cream of the crop to sort of rise up. And what makes you wanted or not wanted in a gig? And really, a lot of it depends on your ability to be a kind of a chameleon. You know, the phone rings, you gotta go. If it's a wedding, you go. If it's a reggae band, you go. If it's top 40, you go. Matter of fact, I'm gonna do another little video series along with this one. I'm gonna call Getting the Gig and Keeping the Gig. And it's about being a freelance player and how I prepare. Anyway, today we're talking about the Mambo with Cascadas. Cascadas. What's that? Okay, so the Mambo is a dance beat that through years evolved, and so there is a type of mambo that's expected of you if it gets called out on certain gigs. Now, within that genre, there are degrees of complexity or simplicity, however you want to go, to play that mambo. As a matter of fact, there are songs, I Want You by the Beatles, Welcome to My Nightmare by Alice Cooper, played by Johnny Bedanchek, where he did kind of a rock mambo, which kind of has this thing going on. Or in the case of those rock tunes, right? But traditionally, mambos would be a little faster than that, especially if they have the cascadas. And I got to be honest with you, it's not the easiest to play, and it's going to take you a little time to get it. All right, so we're going to build this thing from kind of the top down, which is not what I normally do, but the bottom on this, we're going to start with an easier version of the bottom that I might personally play, and I'm going to show you both, the more advanced and the easy one. Let's start with the cascadas. The cascadas is something, and you've heard it on all the YouTube channels, that really comes from being played on the side of the drum. It was a whole lot of, you know, cool rhythms that would be created on the side of drums. Today, traditionally, and you want to stay really with traditional. If you want to veer away, man, have at it. Find new cool ways to do this, because that could set you aside from other guys and help you to get a gig. And I'll tell a story one day of my Carnival Cruise Lines auditions, you know, and how I think that helped me get that gig. And it wasn't about being the best, it was about being a little different than everybody else. But so let's go on with the cascadas. The cascadas is based on the 3-2 or the 2-3 clave. Now the clave is a very famous rhythm. Clave is this, the basic clave. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3. And it is not only prevalent in, of course, Latin music, but it's also prevalent in some rock. Bo Diddley, whether you want to admit it or not, is the 3-2 clave. That's what it is. It's a rock version of it for sure, but it is a 3-2 clave. Second line, New Orleans style playing is basically the 3-2, sometimes the 2-3 clave, done more on a snare with a bass drum pattern, right? So that is the clave. Actually, you know, Jeff Porcaro, a lot of people will say when he did the Rosanna groove on his bass drum, he put Bo Diddley, which again, he really was putting a version of the clave in there. So the clave is very important, but the clave can sometimes be hidden. So what is the Cascadas, and how is it traditionally played today in the on the modern gig? You know, you're at a wedding and they're doing a dance set, maybe not, not the early part of the night, a dance set, and they call it a mambo kind of thing, and they want you to play, they're expecting you to play, I should say, a Cascadas on top. And that would be this. Here's the basic Cascadas, and I'm going to count it out nice and slow. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and that is a traditional modern Cascadas that you're sort of, I don't want to say the word expected, but that's what they might be listening for. So let's play that a little quicker. Right, you can hear that now, but there's a technique behind that. You know, it's not this. It's not this up and down wrist thing. It really involves, again, you need, if you want to be in this industry, you got to have a certain level of good technique. Very much fingers, I'm very much French grip, you don't need a hard hit. Yes, it is generally played on the bell of the cymbal. You do not need a hard hit. It's a light touch, and I am using my fingers to sort of accent that ding, 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 right? You can also switch that around, by the way. You can go 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. Let me play that one a little quicker. Sorry, I messed that one up. Right, and that is your basic Cascadas. And even there, I'm playing kind of moderate, which is about most of the tempos you'd probably have to play it normally most of the time. It can be much faster, it can be much slower. Now on top of that, there are a couple of foot patterns that you can put, hi-hat patterns as well, and a cross-stick tom-tom pattern. And we are going to get through all of that, including an advanced version of this, which is the most difficult to play. The important thing to know is you want to put these things in your arsenal, because you don't know who's going to be on the other end of that phone when it rings. And right now, especially with the pandemic, and when the pandemic is over, you don't have the luxury of saying no. Actually, I did this on the second day, this part. Yesterday we handled the actual Cascadas part, right? And I had a gig to get to, so I don't know why. This week I got some gigs. Last night was an outdoor thing. Yes, it is October. Yes, it was cold. But pandemic time, a gig is a gig is a gig is a gig, and you just take them. And like I said, I'm gonna do a little series on getting the gig and keeping the gig and being a freelance artist and trying to make a living today. I'm gonna do that next, but let's finish our mambo stuff. So we talked about the Cascadas pattern, right? Now we're gonna add the kunga on top of that. We are mimicking what the kunga would do, and we are doing 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and. All right, let's add that to the Cascadas. Now we haven't had our feet yet. We're just doing the hands. This is just the hands. Here we go. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, tempo. And if you notice, I'm kind of switching back and forth between 2-3 and 3-2, and I do switch back and forth. They both kind of work in a lot of these situations, especially when you're doing the correct bass drum pattern, and we'll get to that at the very end. Okay, let's do that one more time. Let's do it as a 2-3. Now, a little difference that I like to do in this is sometimes I like to do this more linearly, especially when I'm playing in a more traditional setting and I got to play a pattern like that for a long period of time. Because here's what I want to happen. I want to stay relaxed. I never want tension to come into my body. Never, ever, 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 ever. Because tension is going to create problems in the groove. I'm going to say it again. Tension is going to create problems in the groove. If I'm not tense and I'm relaxed, the groove is going to be relaxed, no matter how fast I'm playing. A relaxed drummer is always a comfortable drummer, and the groove is groovier. It just is. So, sometimes I do this way. It's a linear way. I don't hit that last hit. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1. So instead of hitting that last and together, I just do the, and it makes it a little more linearly. You know, I don't really think you need, I mean, it's okay, 4 and 1, but I don't think it's a necessity to the groove to make it feel groovy, okay? So let me do that for a second. Now, let's talk about our cross stick, this. Mark Giuliana has a couple of videos he talks about this, and I'm in very much agreement with him. Some guys like to put their cross stick all the way down and leave it down. Some guys pick it up. I pick it up. And I leave my resting position is fingers down with the stick up, and there's a space, whatever, like an inch space there, right? Maybe half inch, I don't know. Why do I do that? Okay, you know, you'll hear some dudes talking that, well, this sounds better than this. I don't know, the average audience listener ain't gonna be able to tell that difference. I don't think that's important. Here's what I do like about it. When I do this, that means the next time I'm gonna hit it, I have to come up and down. And there's always that possibility it's going to buzz a little when it comes down because maybe, I don't know, I didn't hit it just right, who knows. But when I do this, now I'm up. So the next stroke, I just got to go down. Again. I'm utilizing the bounce. It doesn't really take much to hold it up like that. I got my fingers holding my wrist up. I think it's just technically a little easier to play. This seems to me, I gotta go push it down, then pick it up and push it down again. Here, it's up, I go down. Up, I go down. I think it's just a little more efficiency of motion. So let's talk about our feet. Let's talk about our feet. One very cool way is 1 and 3, your feet together. And I know that's not the traditional way. But Gad has done this, and I think it sounds very cool. Matter of fact, he's done it with like a tambourine and the hi-hat, and it sounds just very, very cool. Let's do it with just the bass drum, and let's just do it with the cascada so you can see where I'm putting it. Right, 1 and 3. So 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1. And usually that's going to be about dance tempo, 120 or so, right? And so it's something for people to dance on. And let's add everything to it, and let's add the hi-hat. Same thing, we're going to put it in the same place. I don't think I need to go over that part of it with you in a slow fashion. We're just going to put it all the way in. Now, did you notice whether I was doing a 2 or 3 or 3-2? Ah, a little quiz or test for you. Ha ha! All right. So that's with 1 and 3, and I think that's very groovy and very cool. I like that. I use that occasionally. But you guys are looking at me and going, that ain't right. You're right. That's not the actual way you might see in the books. As a matter of fact, what I'm doing with my foot isn't the actual way. This is, you got that call tomorrow and your technique isn't quite there for what I'm going to show you at the end, right, which is a much harder bass drum pattern. And maybe you're in a situation where you don't need that very traditional, much harder thing, especially in a wedding band kind of thing, or a top 40 thing, or a club thing, where people are dancing. That 1 and 3 is going to work just fine. And like I said, it's about usually around 120, 110, and people are going to be dancing to it, and they're going to have a good time. Really, the hi-hat should be on 2 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if we do that really slow, now you got it. Let's put that up to tempo. Again, I changed over to the linear pattern just so you can see. Let's make it a 3-2. And there you have it, right? It's very groovy, it's very cool, and you can move kind of quick with it if you need to, right? You can actually put a little speed on that. Now, if you notice, when I'm going that quick, I like to leave out that note on the cymbal. Why? You're playing the club, there's a lot of distractions, there's always that possibility that after, I don't know, the 90th time you play it, you're going to get a little flam or something. And I don't want that. That's 1. 2, again, playing 8 notes instead of 10, that's saving me energy and time and allow me to play more relaxed, more fluidly, all that kind of stuff is good. Now let me show you the correct bass drum pattern. The correct bass drum pattern. Okay, the correct bass drum pattern that really should go with this kind of groove is the end of 2 and 4. As a matter of fact, some guys, you can just do it with the end of 2 and not the 4. I like putting the 4 on there. I don't really know why, it's the way I learned it. I do the end of 2 alone occasionally. So in other words, you're going 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. This is a more traditional pattern in the mambo, okay? Let's do this. Watch. I'm going to do a 3-2 pattern up here, and I'm going to lay that bass drum. I'm going to count it out nice and slow. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 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 1. What does the hi-hat do there, Glenn? Okay, the hi-hat would go on 2 and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 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 3, and 4, and Three on that last one, sorry. You know, it's way harder to do that slower than it is to do it fast. Let's throw it a little bit more up to tempo. Are you hearing it? Bum, bum. And the bass player is probably doing 1, 2, and 3, 4. Bum, 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 bum. 1, 2, and you match him exactly. Let's add the whole conga part now, okay? And there you have it. That is a very cool groove. And I hope this helps you out to learn the mambo. Again, I am not the superstar of Latin playing, but I got a couple Latin grooves I can play, and I can do it, and I can make it feel good. And I have done them. I had a cruise ship where I did mostly Latin grooves all the time that I played on. So, anyway, live well and be well. check out the rest of the videos on my channel. Please like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Let's help each other out on this, okay?